D2 Word Life here with Rhea Ripley's Ho Riptides.
Welcome one, welcome all. D2's about to show that he's a micro bitch.
Yeah, fuck off. And this week, as promised, we are doing the review for the 2006 Unforgiven event, which took place on September 17th, 2006, at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Canada. This was a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. And there was an attendance of 16,105 in that arena that night.
With Theodore Long in the skybox.
Yeah, waiting for the main event. The results to it. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, now, before we start talking, shout out to Super Crazy defeating Shelton Benjamin in the dark match prior to the event. So there you go. Right?
Yeah.
And the show kicked off proper with Jeff Hardy, who made his pay-per-view return after 3 years at that point, to challenge Johnny Nitro, or should we say better known as John Morrison, with Melina for the Intercontinental Championship. Your thoughts on this?
The Screamer.
Match? The Screamer. Yeah, 2006 was a different time period. But anyway, your thoughts on this opening contest that we've seen on this show?
It was good. It had some back and forth, and then Melina fucking cheated like she always did back then, so.
That nasty fall that Jeff Hardy took in the turnbuckle when Nitro hit him with that drop kick, that looked nasty.
Yeah, that was not planned. They even said that
when he
was a fuck up.
Yeah, when he got drop kick, bounced off the freaking top turnbuckle and just landed on his back in the ring.
Yeah, they said, even Johnny Nitro, when he was even said that was a major fuck up with the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, that looked nasty. Right?
Yeah.
But at one time, near the end, Jeff Hardy had the momentum, looked like he was going to win with a Swanton Bomb, only for Nitro's foot to be put on the rope.
Yep, and Melina screaming like she always did.
And of course, Melina got knocked off the ring apron near the end of the match. She shouldn't have been up on the apron in the first place. Faked a sprain injury in her ankle, whatever. Then Johnny Nitro tried to do a top rope maneuver. Jeff Hardy reversed into a powerbomb, only for Melina to hit Hardy in the head with her boot when the referee wasn't paying attention, giving Nitro the win.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was an alright opener. It was I don't agree with the ending, but, you know, what can I say? This was years ago, so what is done is done. Jeff Hardy would get his win back a couple weeks later on Raw to win the championship, if I remember correctly, anyway.
Yes, but I also did not like the segment after that match either.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that, which is probably... Was that directly after this match when all three...
Yeah, it was directly after the match.
Yeah, it was after the match. Jeff Hardy was in the back, met up with Matt, who was in the back. And then the whole awkward shit with the whole leader came up.
Because the fucking Matt went to cheer on his brother Jeff. And then who walks in? The bitch.
Yeah, I mean, Lita, it was kind of a throwback, but this one was really awkward, knowing what happened the year prior, which we'll probably discuss in detail.
Yeah, when she cost Matt Hardy his job on Raw.
Of course, it was kind of messed up. It's like, Lita look around, look at Jeff, be like, come on, you'd be a champion if you weren't such a screw-up. I'm just thinking to myself, boy, how that's still true.
Shit.
In a way. I'm not saying 100%, but in a way. Personal demons. He
was fucking multi-time champion.
Talking about his personal demons getting the best of him.
But he was
what I'm alluding to.
Champion.
Yeah, and then she turns the match, goes, well, you'll be a champion if, well, who am I kidding? You never be a champion. I'm like, oh, geez, looking at it from a 2024 perspective, how wrong those words were.
Yeah.
because Matt Hardy innovated himself, became Broken Matt, and I believe he's a former ECW champion and multiple-time TNA Impact champion.
Well, he also reinvented himself in W when he became Matt version 1.
Yeah.
When he became the cruiserweight
And then she was all
champion.
Yep, and then she was all boasting about it, saying, "Yep, you're gonna see me beat Trish Stratus, then see Edge retain tonight." Which, yeah, we already know what happened. But up next, but that was up next. It was the Battle of the Monsters as Umanga.
Umaga.
You know why I pronounced it like that?
Yes.
With your boy Estrada. Taking on.
Escúcheme. My name is Armando Alejandro Estrada.
Tell you what, the fans were actually cheering that name introduction, okay? Despite him being a heel manager.
Yeah, but he couldn't talk for shit either, so.
Yeah, and on this show, Umanga was taking on Kane. So, your thoughts on the Battle of the Monsters? I wasn't expecting no technical back and forth, obviously.
No, there was no technical back and forth. That was just a straight up fucking brawl.
Yeah, that was a straight up brawl. I don't think either one held the advantage for so long. I'm sorry, but near the start of the match on the outs, when those two were brawling on the outside, when Kane just grabbed Estrada's jacket and he just ran off like a bitch. And like you see all the sweat all over his shirt and the jacket went flying off. For some reason, that made me laugh.
Because he ran away like a little bitch that he was.
And then Umaga was in control. Ended up, he even did his like his corner ring move.
Yeah.
Then Kane managed to somewhat move his head out of the way, but there was no conclusive winner.
No, it was just DQ because they just fucking started brawling.
It's like Kane went for a choke slam, Umaga went for the Samoan spike at the same time. Only for
reminiscence of nowadays, isn't it?
Yes, I know. Well, we know Umaga's from the same bloodline. He's the uncle of the Usos.
Yes.
As we know, right? Or Rikishi's brother, to be more specific.
The uncles, yes.
Yep. Yeah, and then after the... It's like... Yeah, and then Kane ended up dumping Umaga out of the ring. Those two ended up going into the crowd and brawling, and it was ruled a double countout.
Yep.
And then they still brawl, which also included Kane cracking Umaga's head off the Unforgiven set while they were fighting into the backstage area.
Yeah, well, Armando's like, Kane, the big red machine.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, what the hell? Learn English.
But yeah, it is what it is. I think that's the first time we reviewed a show where a match ended in a double countout on this channel. But it is what it is. But you know, the next match was kind of not really good, but they did their job. And I'm talking about the tag team title match. It was the Highlanders taking on your boys, the Spirit Squad.
No, those are your boys with Mr. McMahon and Shane McMahon and the Big Show.
Yeah, it was Kenny and Mikey representing the Spirit Squad taking on the Highlanders in this tag team match, which I really wasn't into. I mean, to me, the only freaking star that or the only wrestler out of the Spirit Squad that made anything of himself was Nikki. Or should we say Dolph Ziggler?
Yeah.
He's still going strong today under his real name in Impact or TNA these days. After a long WWE career, as we know.
Well, he's trying to reinvent himself, but he said he wanted to go back eventually anyways.
Yep. But your thoughts on this tag team match, which at times seemed to be a glorified illegal 5-on-2 handicap match. At points.
It was a 5-on-2 handicap the entire fucking match.
It's like I wasn't really into this one at all. Well, mostly because I never really was into a Spirit Squad tag match. Even back then, I just didn't like it as a group. NWO, the Spirit Squad were not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But either way, what's your takeaway from this match? Like, what are some spots that kind of stood out to you in this tag match?
The Spirit Squad still a bunch of fucking pussies.
Of course, we did see Rory and Robbie McAllister make some comebacks, but they were kind of short-lived.
Well, this was the only time we ever got to see Rory and Robbie again because Robbie went to, at that time. Robbie went to that's his real name. He went to TNA to watch a match with his family because he was a trainer as well for one of the people there, and he never told them.
Yeah, and the company told him don't go there, and he was spotted on camera.
Yep.
But anyway, it's like this match really wasn't. I mean, great tag team match. This was not. There was plenty of interference, and well, the Spirit Squad won after using the microphone, or one of them used a kick on Rory's head from the outside, and pretty much that was it. Really nothing special. It's not a match that I'm going to wake up and think of tomorrow to be like, oh, that was a great match. No, I'll probably forget as soon as this freaking review is done. Right?
What match?
Exactly. Wait, what? But the next match is still talked about today for obvious reasons. And it's what we alluded to a little bit ago, and that was the McMahons and the Big Show, who was ECW champion at the time, taking on DX, which was Triple H and Shawn Michaels in that 3-on-2 handicap Hell in a Cell match.
Wasn't it Lita and Trish Stratus next?
No, it was a Hell in a Cell match that was next. It was the Stratus Lita match that followed it. But anyway, we're talking about this Hell in a Cell match. Okay, the funniest part to me was how the match started with Triple H and Michaels just staring at the Big Show and gave him a double dick kick city right off the bat.
No, the funny part of the match was Mr. McMahon was saying in the back before the match was even started, saying, oh, I'm going to be the one that's going to be doing this, and this. Everyone else can sit back. Yet, what happens? He sits back and lets everyone else do his dirty work yet again, like Canada did. He was saying against Canada.
If you are from Canada, I apologize. That's not our views. We're just saying it as a bit. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the match started with the double low blow to the Big Show, and then Michaels and Triple H went on to pretty much destroy the McMahons.
Not pretty much. They did.
Including Shane McMahon eating the freaking side of the steel cage, busting him open.
Yep.
And then later on, Vince was bleeding, then Triple H was stabbing him with a screwdriver in his fucking head.
Yep.
That's a little graphic. But then after a good minute of getting destroyed, they all go back in the ring, and that's when Big Show came and started attacking him again. But before that, in the middle of it, he got double dick kick city'd again, right in the middle of the onslaught.
Well, he got it from behind that time.
And I'm just like, Jesus! Right? And I love Jim Ross. Oh yeah, Jim Ross, Sherry Lawler were the commentators for this one. I love Jim Ross's little freaking analysis of the Big Show is his pain right now. He goes, well, first one was, well, he's not wearing a cup. And the second one was, well, there's a reminder to wear one next time.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But then after they all got back in the ring, then the Big Show freaking attacked DX. They were in control. Then the McMahons and Big Show were in control. Triple H and Michaels were both busted up, including Michaels being long darted into the side of the steel by Big Show.
Yeah.
Then Triple H getting his ear busted open after that coast to coast with the trash can, followed by, and his head was all busted open. Everyone was bleeding profusely. But then Vince McMahon got cocky and wanted Shawn Michaels to join the Kiss My Ass Club. If you remember that cringe, you remember that cringe, and if you don't worry about it. Sort of thing, right? And then Triple H freaking just started pounding on Vince, only for them, the heels.
No, the thing is that Mr. McMahon was trying to pin Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Then he's like, oh, no, I'm going to do this. Nope, I'm going to do this. Nope, I'm going to do this. He started to try to he was pinning him, then picked him up, beat the crap out of him, picked him up.
Yep.
And then, at that point, Mr. McMahon decides to pull down his pants.
Which is only a visual you would love.
No, that's you. You always said you wanted to join the Mr. McMahon Kiss My Ass Club.
No. But we'll get to kissing ass here in a minute. Anyway, freaking, when that was going on, Triple H just stood there, probably with the expression on his face like, what the fuck are you doing? Alright? Before attacking Vince again. Right?
Yep.
But then after a short exchange, the McMahons and Big Show were back in control, and it got to the point where Michaels was being squashed by the Big Show while Vince was holding him down. Except for that last attempt. Freaking Michaels kipped up, put Vince in Big Show's way, and Big Show accidentally squashed Vince McMahon.
No, Shawn Michaels moved.
Or moved, yeah.
He moved, and then, Mr. McMahon got in Big Show's way after Big Show jumped off the rope to do his... No, he ran off the rope to do a splash, and he couldn't stop, and squashed.
Oh, yeah, and...
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
And no one really gives credit to Paul White or the Big Show for this, but in situations like that, he does have some great facial expressions.
Yes, like especially when they showed Mr. McMahon's head up his ass.
Well, we're going to get to that in a minute. It's like, yeah, when he squashed Vince McMahon, he kind of had that wide-eyed look like, oops, did I just do that? I fucked up. Right?
Yep.
And then he went back into the corner only to get his nuts slammed on the ring post again by Triple H and Michaels also.
Yep.
And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you ain't going to be able to reproduce at this rate. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then we gotta talk about that spot with. Then they attack then Shawn Michaels and Triple H attack both McMahons in the ring again with weapons, which included Shane McMahon getting his throat crushed by Michaels when he had a steel chair wrapped around his head. That was brutal.
He deserved it.
Yeah, and then the Big Show came back in with steel stairs. Looked like he was going to do some damage, only getting knocked down. Oh yeah, and at this point, before he even lifted the stairs up, he took a strap down. No one wanted to see that. Right?
You did.
Only to get hit in the stomach and had his head smashed in between the steel chair and the freaking steps. Only to get super kicked, and he was in position over the rope.
Yeah, you wanted to see Big Show put down the strap, didn't you?
Nope. But we all know you wanted to see this next part. Yeah, and Vince McMahon, ever defiant, was just standing there, grappling with hatred for DX. Only for Triple H and Michaels just look at him, and then they pulled Big Show's pants down. Revealing the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Schmanion.
And despite his begging and pleading, what did DX do?
Made him toss Big Show's selling.
In a way, that is true. Yep, they shoved Vince's head right up Big Show's ass. And I'm just like, oh my God.
And Big Show or Paul White at that point did not realize what they were going, because that wasn't really the plan that was supposed to happen. And then you just catch it right at the corner of the camera, and Big Show's like,
fuck. And I bet he regretted that Taco Bell he had earlier. But anyway, after that, freaking McMahon got super kicked by Michaels, and then to add injury to insult, Triple H took the sledgehammer and cracked it over Vince's back. They said head, but we know it was really a back shot. And then that's how the match ended with a 3 count. With Triple H pinning Vince to end the carnage.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your thoughts about that brutal Hell in a Cell match?
Just as brutal as any Hell in a Cell match that I've seen.
Oh yeah, and just note the Unforgiven Hell in a Cell match, that was the debut of what we call the current Hell in a Cell structure.
Yeah, well, they had to retire the other one because people fucking lost their life and career.
Yeah. But...
And if you guys want to know why, go look at...
Mick Foley's
match with The Undertaker.
Which we already put on the channel a couple weeks back.
Which scared the living fuck out of everyone.
Yeah, but either way, it was brutal enough. It was great enough. It told the story it needed to tell.
Yes.
So after that, we go on to after the Carnage of Hell in a Cell, we go to the Women's Championship match, which was Lita defending the Women's Championship against Trish Stratus in what would turn out to be Trish Stratus' last match as a full-time competitor.
Well, as a WWE superstar, period, until later on in the years.
I mean, it was technically her last match, but not really. I mean,
it was her last match for that era.
But she would make sporadic returns over the years. I know that.
Yeah.
Kind of like what she did. I mean, her last match as of recording was against Becky Lynch last year in that steel cage match.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I'm alluding to here. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Until later on in the years.
Yep. But anyway, your thoughts on this women's title match? And yeah, Trish Stratus got the standing ovation and got the crowd cheering because she was from Toronto where this event was taking place.
Yes, but she literally beat the fucking bitches.
Of course, Lita was in control.
Pillar to post.
Well, Lita was in control for a little bit too at points in the match. It just wasn't a one-sided beatdown either.
Yes, but Trish was beating her from pillar to post.
Including dumping Trish on the outside of the ring, and all I can hear was some friggin' horny teenager front row saying, "Oh my God, you're so hot." I'm like, Jesus Christ. That may be true today, but I don't hear fans saying that to the current female wrestlers, do you? But then again, the internet's a weird place, especially the wrestling community.
Well, yeah, look at me.
But anyway, Trish Stratus, or Lita did kick out of Stratus faction near the end of it, I think. Then Trish
kicked out of Stratus faction, and then they were doing Google roll pins or whatever, and then Trish Stratus said, "Fuck it,"
and put Lita in the sharpshooter. Which another famous Canadian former WWE wrestler legend made legendary there. And
the best there was, the best there will be, the best there was, the best there'll be, and the best there always, whatever the fuck else he did.
And the best there ever will be. And don't forget his brother, the King of Hearts, too, who used the same submission hold. Right?
Well, the whole family uses the sharpshooter. Davey Boy Smith.
Natalia.
Well, Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yep.
Natalia.
Obviously, Brett and Owen.
Huh?
Obviously, Brett and Owen did, too.
Yes, their nephew, Teddy Hart.
Yep. So, yeah, it's like they're known for that, but
Also, Brian Pillman Jr.
Yep. Yeah, and the sharpshooter was locked on, and after a struggle, Lita tapped out, though I do admit I think Trish Stratus held it a little bit too deep there, because Trish Stratus' body, or Lita's body, was bent in an unnatural position near the end.
Well, at the end, Lita was trying to escape, so Trish brought her back. She kind of fell backwards a little bit, and then
That was probably
just fucking put more leverage on it, which a lot of the wrestlers now do.
Yeah, but I bet at the time it was unintentional.
Yeah.
Because that looked like it would legit hurt. I'm like, nope. I'm like, oh god, you're gonna bend her. That's a good way to break someone's back, though.
She pulled her eyes, something with an eye muscle in the back.
ICL muscle, yeah.
Yes.
Probably.
Because Trish even said she didn't mean to do that, but she pulled that muscle. Not bad, but enough where she couldn't do anything, but it was still twinging her when she was doing things.
Yep. So yeah, Trish Stratus went out, won her final retirement match, quote unquote, to win the women's championship for a 7th time, which was her final championship she ever held in WWE.
Yes. Well, besides the tag teams later on.
But, you know, it's all good. It is what it is. She's got a standing ovation at the end of the match.
Yeah.
And she pretty much went out like a champion, thus putting an end to her full-time career, and at the time, she thought it was the end of her career, period.
Yeah.
Then we go from a feel-good moment to one that possibly was the start of a new tradition that we see in modern wrestling today. And yes, of course, I'm talking about Randy Orton versus Carlito in the semi-main spot. Of course, before that, Randy Orton was in a back cutting a promo how in that same building 2 years prior he became a world champion, the youngest world heavyweight champion in WWE history. They only did that to friggin' stick it to Brock at the time, right?
Yeah.
And in the end of the promo, he pretty much, since he was the baddie heel, he ended up calling Trish Stratus a bitch who was in storyline dating Carlito.
Yep.
So what do you think about this Orton-Carlito matchup? And oh yeah, let's talk about Carlito's entrance first before we get into the match. All those fans of his that looked all the same. And Jerry Lawler was like, oh yeah, there's the Hair for Men Club. And Jim Ross like, no, that's the crazy hair, that's the Angry Hair Club. All right, wild and unruly, am I right?
Yes.
But anyway, enough about that. Let's get to the matchup. So, your thoughts about this match, but a moment that stood out to me before we get into it was when Carlito was doing the springboard and his elbow cracked Orton's lip. I bet that was unintentional, obviously.
Well, yes and no.
Pretty sure it was an unintentional in the match for him to get his lip busted the hard way, giving him a fat lip.
It's because at that time and point, Carlito and Trish were dating outside of the company as well. Yeah. And when Randy said that only Canadians would cherish the retirement of Trish, Carlito got pissed after he was saying, "Oh, she's a bitch and shit."
Yeah, and then there was some good, like, back and forth, Carlito trying to do some of his aerial moves and everything else. It was kind of like, it was about an 8-minute match. But what I'm talking about, the new tradition I'm talking about was the RKO out of nowhere. I think it originally got birthed here.
Probably.
When Carlito was trying to do a top rope move, and then Orton just caught him with an RKO to end the match. Like,
yeah.
Out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And that is something that Orton is now known for.
Yeah, it was 8 minutes too long.
But either way, it was it all right. It served its purpose, and the bad guy won. See, not only, but you gotta have some heels to win to balance out shows, you know. And Orton's been doing this for a
He's
long
a
time.
bad guy.
And just think, this was 2006. Just think, as of 2024, both Randy Orton and Carlito are still working for the company today.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then we get to our final match, which was Edge defending the WWE Championship against John Cena in a tables, ladders, and chairs match.
DLC, baby.
Yep. And this was back when Edge had his Rated R Championship belt, which is pretty much a spinner belt, but with his logo in the middle.
Yep.
So your thoughts on this one before we go spot for spot?
It was intense.
Yep. Of course, I do like the build to this, especially the scene where Cena did throw Edge in the Long Island Sound, something we really don't see in today's wrestling, where they go backstage, go outside the arena and do stuff like that. Except for recently when we've seen Cody Rhodes get the heck beaten out of him by The Rock, but that was about it.
Well, they used to do that like a few years back, but then they stopped.
Yep.
But the thing was, that was leading up to that was that Edge had cost Cena the title
at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam, and then he won the title belt after that.
Yep, and then let's see here. The match was all right. There was the first big move was Edge power slamming Cena through the table. That was set up in the ring. And then another chair shot to Cena's skull in the head in the middle of the match, which is something you don't see anymore, for obvious reasons.
Yes.
And then Edge catapulting himself off of a ladder to the outside of the ring where Cena was, which could have been catastrophic because that ladder fell from the corner of the ring right afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, if that ladder would have came down like a second sooner, then shit, that would have been a botch. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after a while, after some intense back and forth, Cena hit Edge with probably the weakest chair shot I've ever seen. Right to Edge's head, right? Then when Cena looked like he was going to win at one point, but then that Holita showed up.
Well, you also have to say, because John Cena FU'd the fucking ladder right on top of Edge.
Oh yeah, that was actually a cool spot. Oh yeah, and before we even get to the ending, or near the end of the part, at one point, Cena did apply the STF on Edge, who was sandwiched in between Cena and the ladder.
Yep.
And Edge even said himself that was the first time he was literally knocked unconscious. While stuck in that hole, the pain was that intense. Right?
Yeah, he got fucking hit with a fucking FU'd ladder.
Yep.
From the top rope!
Yeah, and then that spear to Cena from the ladder, and then later on, Lita came out, cost Cena the match by dumping him off the ladder through a table.
Well, she pushed him off.
Pushed him off the ladder through the table. Yep.
She didn't cost John Cena the match. She cost Edge the match.
But then later on, when Edge was trying to capitalize, climbing up the ladder, it's like climbing up the ladder. I think she shoved Cena or something into the ladder, which caused Edge to go tumbling through two tables stacked outside the ring.
No, she tried to hit Cena with the steel chair.
It was
John
a steel chair
moved.
shot, yeah.
He dodged it, and then she accidentally pushed the ladder with the chair and knocked Edge into the freaking tables at the entrance ramp.
Yep. think there was 4 of them stacked there.
Well, there was 2 that were just placed, and then there was 2 that were placed on the other side, and then there was 2 that were stacked up on top of each other.
In the ring, yep. And then after Edge came back from that, those 2 were up on the ladder trying to fight, and that's when we seen Cena reverse Edge's stuff and give him an FU from the top of the ladder through 2 tables that were stacked in the ring to end the match and win the championship back.
Yep, after John Cena FU'd Lita.
Yep. So, and that's how Unforgiven ended, with Cena standing tall despite being booed out of the building. Because
he was in a hostile crowd. He was in Edge's hometown.
And despite being the heel, Edge got the big
Toronto.
ovation, obviously, because Edge was from Toronto.
He is.
So, yeah, so both Lita and Edge lost their respective championships at this show.
Yeah, Lita's prediction was completely wrong. She's like, oh, I'm going to retain. Loss. Oh, Edge is going to retain. Loss.
Yep. So, after this match, Edge and John Cena would go their separate ways until like a few years later. But this was the end of their 2006 feud, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, because it was Edge versus... Well, Edge was becoming hardcore Edge with McFoley's help, and then he turned on him.
Yep. And it was shortly after this that Cena got involved in another rivalry while Edge went on to form a tag team with Randy Orton.
Yep, rated RKO.
Which that may have been short-lived, but it's still memorable today that people like to talk about.
Yeah, which was a rivalry with the Hardy Boys,
DX,
CM Punk, DX.
Yep. So it wasn't all bad for Edge. He still stayed relevant, teaming up with another big heel in these feuds after this. While Cena would go on to hold that championship for over a year after this event before dropping it due to injury.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, your final... So, here we go. Here we go with our starter ratings match. The Johnny Nitro Jeff Hardy match, I would give that about a good 3.5.
3.
The only reason I gave it 3.5 instead of like 4 is because of how it ended with the interference. Even though heels are known for doing that, it just drags it down a bit.
3.
Kane and Umaga...
5.
You would give it a 5, but it kind of ended conclusively, but I understood why, because they wanted Umaga at the time to remain undefeated, but they didn't want Kane to lose, and they wanted that feud to continue. So I'd give it about a good 3, despite the double count-out finish.
The reason why I gave it a 5 is because he made fucking Armando Alejandro Eslada fucking run like a little bitch.
The tag title match with the Spirit Squad and the Highlanders, I give about a 1.
Half.
I mean, that match was too blatant interference, like it was going to be, and I just wasn't into it.
I just didn't like the Spirit Squad, period. I gave it a half a star.
The DX versus the McMahons and Big Show in that Hell in a Cell match, I would give about 4 3/4. I'm doing it out of 5. You can't be breaking the scale. That's Mick Foley numbers. That you're talking about. I'd say it's about 4 3/4, almost 5.
10.
Trish Stratus and Lita, 5. Only because it was...
5.5.
I only give that one 5 because it was Trish Stratus' final match as a full-time competitor, and she got the win. Orton and Carlito, I would give about 3.
2.
And of course, the TLC main event, I would give 4.
5.
Yep. So overall, what would be your grade for the 2006 Unforgiven show?
A.
I would give it a solid... I would give it like a high B grade. That's how I feel about it. Well,
I gave it an A, so screw you.
High B, that ain't bad. It's essentially a 2-match show, basically, with the TLC match and the Hell in a Cell match.
Well, yeah, but still.
Like, if I was going to recommend any matches from this show, it would be the Hell in a Cell and the main event TLC match. All the other matches you can kind of skip, unless you want to see Trish Stratus's last match, so there's that too.
Yeah, well, Trish Stratus was also wearing all white.
Yep. So, with that being said, that's our review for the 2006 Unforgiven pay-per-view. So, what are we going to do next week? It's up to you.
Don't know quite yet.
It's like we could review another show, or we can do something totally different. It's up to you. The viewers need to know what show we're going to be reviewing. Or what we're going to do next week.
Who be announced? TBD.
Oh, so to be announced. So you ain't even going to let me know. Probably because you don't even know yet.
Yeah, I don't know yet, but it may not be a show. It may be a show.
All right. So
it may be one of your favorite matches of all time, Dustin.
If I know you, you're going to try to torture me.
It may be.
So anyway, I guess it's up in the air because I don't even know what the hell we're doing next week. So anyway.
Or it could be when WWE beat WCW.
Yeah, there's 2 events I can think of that are associated with that. But I guess I'll find out when you think of it, and we'll post that next week.
Survivor Series. 2001.
So you're going to be going with the 2001 Survivor Series? Alright, fair enough. We'll just do that next week. So, yeah.
Because also next week is...
and I know next week is also the King and Queen of the Ring 2024.
Yep. In Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. And you know we're going to be doing a review and uploading that the day after, so...
Yeah, well, we won't be able to see the females in their regular wrestling gear. They have to be in pants.
Yeah, but it's still better than nothing.
In hot-ass weather.
Yeah, well, it's still better than nothing.
Yes, but it's a disgrace.
I mean, but as a wrestler, if you were a wrestler, what weather would you rather be competing in outdoors? Would you rather be competing in hot-ass weather or cold-ass weather as a case of Night 1 of Mania this year?
But would I rather wrestle in the United States or overseas?
Yeah, the answer's obvious for that.
Here?
Exactly, but anyway, we're getting off topic here. Next week, we're going to be reviewing the 2001 Survivor Series, followed by King and Queen of the Ring.
Yep.
Anyway.
Because the freaking WWF that was transitioning to WWE, just the freaking entrance for the damn show was spot on fucking S grade.
Yep. Anyway.
With freaking Pat Patterson as the freaking dude or whoever it was that was in the chair with the freaking cane and shit.
Fred Blassie.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that will be for next week. Next week we'll do the 2001 Survivor Series, followed by King and Queen of the Ring later on in the week. So, until then, I will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Doses.